Thank you guys for coming.
Yes, thanks for being here.
Today we're talking about bruschetta.
And I'm Leah.
I'm Megan.
And this is Biblio Bites. So thanks again for coming. We are going to talk to you a little bit about a couple of things. First of all, we are going to have some samples at the end. And we just kind of want to say a little disclaimer. We are food handlers serviced, and what we do, the samples we do give you guys are cooked in a home kitchen. What we make today is not what we will give you, but we've had some prepared already under the right circumstances and everything, and so they are ready and packaged for you, and you'll be able to try them at the end, okay?
And we try to follow food handler protocols. We wear gloves and everything, so just so you know, we are trying to provide you with the best food possible.
Yes. So we do want to talk to you a little bit about the books that we're going to use today. So over here we have these. This one is called Biblio Bites. And for those on Instagram and Facebook, welcome. And this is going to be one of the books that we kind of drew inspiration from. We're not cooking today from an actual recipe that we're following step for step. We kind of just drew some inspiration from these ones, and then we're going to kind of talk about the basics and kind of where to go from there. So this one is a really awesome book. It's called Biblio Bites. We've actually used the same author's book for charcuterie. And what was that one called again?
I think it was called Beautiful Boards.
Beautiful Boards, yes. And they're very, very good books. This one has a lot of fun stuff in it. You can see they have really great pictures of lots of appetizer type foods. And this one has just some neat ideas and things that you can kind of get inspiration from for different ways to do bruschetta and like toppings and things like that. This one here that we have is called, I don't even know how to say it.
Giada?
Giada? Giada is Italian, or Italy, sorry. And this one, we did have some bruschettas in here.
And Giada is like an Italian chef. She cooks a lot of like very traditional Italian recipes. And so we brought this book specifically because it's like the classic bruschetta, because it is like an Italian appetizer dish. So yes, we wanted to give you the most classic recipe as well.
This is filled with lots of different pretty authentic Italian recipes, but this one does have the recipe for it's crostini with smoked trout, and then a bruschetta with kale and salsa verde. And then it has this one over here that's got mozzarella, strawberry, and tomato. So it's very pretty, but it wasn't one that we were wanting to do today. So we're not going to have this one, but we did think it had some really great inspiration in it as well. These two here are more about toast. So they have different, they have like avocado toast or different things to build onto your toast, which bruschetta, it actually just basically means toasted bread. So that's kind of the same idea here. This one has, if you see on the back here, it has this like mushroom one, and we're actually going to show you something very similar to this. But we're going to make 3 different ones and kind of walk you through the different steps of how easy it is and how to do them. So if you're welcome to take down the titles at the end or take pictures, and you can put them on hold and take these books home and get inspiration from them as well.
Yeah. So we're going to get started, and like Leah mentioned, we are going to make 3 different ones. So we're going to start off with kind of a sweet one. So we're going to do one with like a cherry jam and pistachios and mascarpone cheese, and then we're going to do one with cream cheese, a spicy pepper jam with chives on top, and then the last one is going to be kind of mushrooms and some cream cheese, some Parmesan, garlic. So we're going to show you ones that are really simple, where you just kind of spread stuff, and then other ones where you actually might do some cooking. So we'll start by showing you that. And this device we're using is called a Charlie cart, and we got this from a grant, and we just started using it last month, was our first time. And it's a really cool resource because it has like power, and we can use all of these different cooking devices. It has like a sink, as you can see, and it's kind of a mobile kitchen. So,
and it comes with everything that you see in front of you. So it comes with the griddle and the cooking, the cooktop there. So it comes with all of it, which is included. So we were really excited about that as well.
Has anybody had bruschetta before? Okay, I see a few. Oh no. I have. I'm a big bruschetta gal. What about you, Leah?
I love bruschetta. It's delicious.
My favorite place to go get bruschetta is Postino. Has anybody been to Postino? The closest one is in Gilbert, so it's a little far, but it's really fun. It's like a wine bar, and they have lots of different types of bruschetta, and that's kind of where we drew some of our inspiration for these recipes. So if you want really good bruschetta, I do recommend going there. We're not sponsored by Postino, unfortunately, but I wish we were. So first, the best part of bruschetta, and the thing we need to start with first, is bread. So we just got one loaf, and we're going to use that for all of our recipes, and it's just kind of a French bread loaf that is already sliced, which just makes it really easy. But you can use lots of different types of bread. Some of the recipes in here used a sourdough, which would be really good, or like you could use a rye, anything that can easily be sliced and is kind of dense so that you can fit toppings on it and it doesn't have too many like holes in it.
Yeah, so these ones obviously don't have a lot of air bubbles or anything like that, so these ones work really great for that. So we'll probably just use 2 for those. We should probably get the butter for that, probably, to toast them.
Do you want oil or butter?
Oh, either one.
So since bruschetta means toasted bread, we have to toast it. And there's lots of different ways you can do it. You can use the toaster oven, you can use a toaster, you could even do it in a pan, but we're gonna do it on this griddle because it's just easy for you to see it, and we can grill a lot of them at the same time. So that's what we're gonna be doing today, but you can pretty much toast it any way you want. You could even put it on a grill if you wanted to do that, have a nice summer, or even now, winter in Arizona, grilled bruschetta, that would be yummy too. So yeah, we're just gonna start off by toasting our bread. One bread that I wouldn't recommend is just like a big, like a normal sandwich bread. If you want to use that, I guess it's more bruschetta for you. But I like ones like this that are kind of slices, and because it's kind of meant to be more of an appetizer. Of course, you can make it anything you want. There's some recipes in here that are more breakfast or brunch, which are really fun. There's also ones that are dessert. And if you put like lots of meats or cheeses on them, it can be a whole meal. But they're kind of intended to be appetizers. So that's what we are kind of aiming for today. It's like grilled cheese, it reminds me of. Yeah. So we're just going to start by toasting all of our bread. And pretty much after that, you just are going to compile all the toppings. So we talked about, we think 3 is the perfect number to start with. Do you want to talk more about that?
So we like to have the idea where you have some sort of bread, sauce or spread to put down first. So we chose cream cheese for one of ours. We chose a mascarpone. And then you could also use like a hummus or pesto. That's used a lot of times. Anything really that's kind of like a spread or a dip, something similar to that, or some kind of a thick sauce or something like that is a great first layer. The second layer is what we like to say is kind of your star layer, which might be, it could be a meat, it could be a jam, it could be cheese, it could be vegetables, with where the flavor, most of your flavor is coming from. So for some of these, we used our spicy jam or our cherry jam. And then other instances, you might do like prosciutto or
big slices of mozzarella cheese.
Yeah, or mushroom is going to be one of our star flavors, we would say. So that's going to be one option that you can do as well. So it's kind of like your flavor aspect. And then the third option for the top is going to be like your topper. So that would be some examples that we're using today is going to be chives or pistachios or olive oil you could do. You could do like drizzles. We talked about, we like balsamic like vinegars to put on. We think those are really yummy. Or anything that can be like a topper aspect. So either a sauce or just like another component.
We're gonna sprinkle some like Parmesan on the top of one of them. So just kind of toppers, and I like to use different textures. So something maybe crunchy. I've had bruschetta before that had like crispy capers on the top,
Yes.
and I really like that, or crispy like garbanzo beans, or the nuts like Leah mentioned. Thinking about different textures, because you have the toasty crunch of the bread and then like a soft cheese, like a tangy jam, and then adding some of the crunch. So thinking about different textures, different colors, and different flavors that all complement each other. That's kind of the main thing, is just to think about what you like, what you want your star to be, and then what's gonna complement it. So I'd say one of my favorite bruschettas I've ever had has pesto and then salmon, like lox salmon, and then it had the crispy capers on top, and then some like purple onion, red onion. And I really like that one because it has all those different textures and the flavors all really mesh together well. So that's my favorite.
If you have like an idea, like let's say salmon, you think what would go great with salmon? Maybe some lemon juice, maybe the capers, or maybe it's just something similar, you know, in that same thought process, I guess you could say. So.
And like a very classic basic bruschetta is gonna be chopped tomatoes. A lot of people have probably seen bruschettas that are just like bread with olive oil and then like a chopped tomato mixture, and that is really yummy. That's like the classic thing to do, but it doesn't have to just be that. I remember my friend invited me to go to Postino and said, we have to go get bruschetta, and I don't really care for tomatoes very much, so I was like, oh, I don't think I want to go. But then she told me that they had all these different types of bruschetta with all these other toppings, and I love going there. So it can be tomatoes or like different vegetables, or it can be just about anything that you want to put onto toast and make a little bite.
I'm gonna remove this so that you guys can see a little bit better.
But here's the toast.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay. Just slide this over.
So let's start off by making our cherry jam bruschetta. So we just bought some cherry jam at the store, and then we're going to use mascarpone cheese, and we're going to top it with some pistachios. So this is a really easy bruschetta because you're basically just putting stuff on bread. You're not really having to cook anything, even like chop anything. This is just like a really simple one. So all of these ingredients we also bought at Fry's. So any of this is available to you.
So this cheese is a very spreadable cheese. So, and it's kind of traditionally used like in tiramisu or like other sweeter things. So we thought it would pair really well with our jam. So this is, since it's so spreadable, we can literally just spread that right on there. And then the nice thing about bruschetta like this is it's very customizable. So if you like a lot of cheese, you put a lot of cheese. If you don't like a lot of cheese, just put a thin layer on there. So it's totally whatever is your preference. And you can, of course, do that with every item you're adding. So
And
great.
these are like relatively big slices of bread, but if you wanted to make like little tiny appetizers, you could get the little tiny slices of bread to make even smaller bites, and then you could make lots of different kinds to put on one tray.
Like in the samples you'll see when you get them, we have the real small ones, and so you could easily do something like that for like your, you know, little appetizer.
I'm gonna start putting the jam on here.
So then, yeah, we'll just put the jam right onto the cheese, and we're basically just kind of building up.
And again, you can put as little or as much as you like. This is kind of a dessert bruschetta. And we've had some good bruschettas that are dessert ones before.
We've had like it's a strawberry cheesecake bruschetta, and so what they did is they took like a cream cheese, and it may have been some sort of cream cheese mixture. I kind of think there might have been something else mixed into it.
Like a sweetener or something.
Yeah, or maybe like whipped cream with your cream cheese, something like that, and they put that down. And then they put strawberries, and then I believe it was some kind of cheesecake crumble or something on the top of that.
Like graham crackers
Graham
or
cracker,
something
yeah,
like that.
something like that. So it made it It was very sweet, it's very desserty, and it was very delicious. So this kind of is the same idea. And then what we'll do is we'll just take a handful of the pistachios and we'll just sprinkle them on top. If you wanted to, you could toast them a little bit first. That would be a great idea to add a little bit more flavor probably. I would do some oil or butter in a pan, do a quick toss. You could even chop them so they're more small. Anything like that would be great. But if you're in a hurry or you don't want to put that much effort into it, just put them right on top like this. And that's it. So that wasn't too hard, right?
So the next one we're going to do is similar. It's more spreads. We're going to do kind of a savory, sweet and savory one. So we did a sweet one. This one's kind of a mix of sweet and savory. And then the last one we're going to do is very savory. So this one, we're using just whipped cream cheese. And then we got this sweet heat spicy pepper jam. Again, we just get this all from Fry's. And they have a lot of jam options at Fry's. They have that whole section of lots of cheeses and like meats for charcuterie. And we found a whole bunch of jams up there by all the cheeses. So
they had like
lots of
different kinds of spicy ones or sweet ones. We saw one there that was like a pear one that sounded really interesting. They have like fig and jalapeno or habanero and other jams and things like that. So there was lots of options to choose from. But if you don't like spicy, that's okay too. They had lots of different ones.
And it is a little bit spicy. So, and you can see the peppers in here. I don't know if you can kind of see those. And it's not, I don't know where this camera is. I want to see it. It's not super spicy, but it has a little kick. So if you can't do that much spice, be careful.
Yes. So Megan's just putting on cream cheese. We got the whipped cream cheese, so it's a little bit easier to spread. It's more spreadable. And so she's just going to put a layer of that on there. And then here.
And it smells peppery too. I don't know if you can smell it. I can smell it as soon as she opened it.
So then we're just going to put a layer of our spicy jam on top of the cream cheese. And again, if you don't like a lot of spicy, you can just do a real thin layer on here. And I think you're still going to get the flavor without all of the spicy. Just, change your quantity. Put more cream cheese, less spicy jam. That kind of thing will even that out a lot.
And I want to emphasize how many different types of bruschetta you can make. And so I want to share some of the ones that I've seen before. I mentioned the salmon one that I really like. I've also seen ones with pesto and salami. So if you're not a big fish person, the salami is really yummy. I've also seen ones that have like street corn. So if you're a big fan of street corn, you can make a mixture of corn and spices and cheeses. Even like sauteed vegetables, so you can make them vegetarian if there's people that don't want to have any meat, and just saute seasonal vegetables, put a little cream cheese, put some spices or cheese on top of that. There's just like so many options. There's hummus you can put on.
One that is really interesting and really good and it's a different idea, is to just take like artichoke dip and just put that on. And we've seen it where that's all that's on there. And so it's kind of interesting because your items, like we said, there's usually 3 layers. Like today we're doing the chives. Well, in this case, it's all mixed into that dip. And so you don't really need anything else because all the flavor's already in it. And so they just put that artichoke dip right on there and eat it like that, which is kind of a different idea, but
even easier.
Still very good. Yeah. So this one, we just had dried chives, and so we're just going to sprinkle that right on top of the jam there. Maybe you used the big one, huh? Ooh, there we go.
And you can use fresh chive too if you really want that fresh, vibrant flavor. You can get some fresh chives and just chop them up and use that.
I think normally I would have done that one. We are a little bit limited on what we're allowed to feed you guys, but dried spices is something we can. So that's kind of why we chose this one, to give you guys some extra things there.
So as you can see, that's what this one looks like. So that's a lot of fun colors and flavors there.
So the next one we're gonna do, we talked about the mushroom one, so we're gonna show you how to do that one. We just gotta switch our power over here. Give us just a second.
And this one is actually vegetarian as well because the star is going to be the mushrooms. And if you wanted to add meat, of course you can do that too. I have seen some yummy like Mediterranean ones before that have like cucumber and tomatoes and feta. You could even add like gyro meat or chicken, anything like that. So there's really, the options are very endless here.
So what we're gonna do with this one is we're just gonna start with, we're gonna do a little saute with the mushrooms. So we're gonna put a little bit of butter in our pan here. And by a little, I probably mean a lot. Should we do all of those mushrooms? Might as well, huh?
The mushrooms kind of cook down, so we might as well put them all in. I'm a big fan of mushrooms. Yeah? Okay, good. I know some people that do not like mushrooms, and I have to limit. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! The non-mushroom corner. Yeah, I have to limit my love of mushrooms sometimes because I know people don't like them, but I really like them.
I also want to do a quick disclaimer. Unfortunately, we cannot sample the mushroom one, so I just want you guys to be prepared for that.
It's good to have our realistic expectations.
Yes.
And then we're just going to add a little bit of garlic. And as you can tell, we're not really following any specific recipe right now because we're just making ones that we like, that are simple, kind of that we got inspiration from the cookbooks like Leah mentioned. So this is like just very simple. So you can, of course, make it more exciting or even more simple if you want to. So we'll just give those a little saute. And while Leah's sauteing, I'm going to start spreading our cream cheese. We're using the same whipped cream cheese on this one. If you can't tell, we like cheese too because we're using lots of cream cheese, mascarpone cheese. We're going to put Parmesan on this one at the end. But you don't have to put cheese. Another big one that I've seen that does include cheese, though, is like mozzarella and tomato and basil. Mm-hmm. That's another really popular one.
Definitely a big one.
But there's ones I've seen that don't have cheese, like the hummus and like sautéed vegetables. That one is a really good vegetarian option that doesn't have cheese. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to use cheese. So, no, I'm just kidding. There's lots of reasons, but I am a big cheese lover. So we got that all spread on there. And this would also be really good if you wanted to put in some like spinach, or we've seen people like shred up arugula and put that fresh on the top, and that's also really yummy. It's almost like a flatbread, a tiny flatbread like pizza. So you can really make it any way you want.
Yeah.
You could use sauces like that too. If you wanted to use like an Alfredo sauce or a marinara sauce, that's totally good. Anything you want to do.
So then once the mushrooms are done, we're going to put those on top of the cheese, and then we're going to add, like Megan said, we're going to add a little Parmesan on top of that. And then I think we decided to do the chives on this one as well, just for an extra layer on there. So
little color. Another thing that they did at Postino that I would like to mention is they had a battle of the bruschetta. So all of their like chefs from around all the different Postinos made a bruschetta, and they like battled and people voted on which was their favorite to add to the menu permanently. And so that was really fun because you got to try lots of different types of bruschetta and learn even more unique ways of making bruschetta. So I got lots of good ideas when they did that.
I think we got this idea from that, actually.
Yeah, probably. You want to try them all. It's impossible, but you try as many as you can.
And what's fun is that a place like Postino is that whenever you order it, you actually get the option to pick 4 different ones. And so you do get to just naturally try that many. But if you make them at home, you can make as many as you want. And then you can eat them all.
And you can slice the bread too into like smaller slices so you can share. Maybe you don't want to share, but if you do, you have that option.
What do you think, mushroom expert?
I
A little more?
want more.
Okay. So once we get these done, maybe I'll just dump it. We're just gonna pour those right on the bread.
And it can be messy to eat, I have to say. When you have a big lump of mushrooms, you're gonna drop some, but that's okay. It is a finger food, so don't worry if it's a little bit messy. Good. So before it cools off, we're gonna put some of that Parmesan on there so it can melt a little bit. And then we'll put a few chives. Okay. And
then
that's,
we have an avocado oil that we're gonna kind of just drizzle on top of that. You can use an olive oil, very similar, and we're just gonna do a little drizzle just for some extra texture and flavor in there. Oop.
And that's something that's pretty big with bruschetta is adding olive oil, either before you put toppings, like drizzling it on the bread and then adding your toppings, or at the end adding a little olive oil, because that's very Italian.
You can see there. Hopefully you can see on Facebook, but there you are. So that's pretty much it for that. So if you have any other questions or anything, we are happy to answer those. But yeah. And then we do have our samples here. So the red one is going to be the spicy jam. We put the chives in there and then the bread. And then this one is going to be the cherry, the pistachio, and the bread.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
We do this every month on the 3rd Wednesday at 3 p.m. Next month, we're going to be doing holiday charcuterie. So we're going to be making like a charcuterie tree and using a board to make a wreath, and with lots of meats and cheeses, and so it's perfect for the holidays.
Foods. Yes.
So hope you'll join us.
Yes. But all right, that's it.
Thank
So
you.
Come get a sample, and thank you for joining.